everyone, welcome back to another adventure, and this time we're going big.
That's right, we're heading to Rawsonville again to Stille Waters Campsite with 10 friends of ours. So join us and see what we plan on getting up to.
Today's video is all about the cost of camping and what we pay in terms of travel, accommodation, and some other things you might not consider.
Yeah, and throughout the camping this weekend, we'll be talking about the following topics: fuel, cost of campsite, food and drink costs, as well as the overall miscellaneous things that might eat into your budget.
Along with all of that, we'll be taking a deep dive into Stille Waters Campsite to see if it's something you would want to visit one day.
So we're just about ready to head out, and we'll catch up with you once we get to Stille Waters.
Good morning, everyone. So we are here sitting with our cup of teas, listening to the river, and now I know why it's called Stille Waters, because it is so calming, so relaxing. It's wonderful. There's no music allowed at the campsite, so we didn't even play any music or make any noises, but it was wonderful.
Yeah, we also want to apologize. We did say in the previous time you saw us that we'll catch up with you when we get to the campsite, and we were supposed to have this sit down where we usually talk about how the trip was or the roads, or then we talk about obviously what we're going to get into throughout the video. But by the time we got to Stille Waters, our friends also arrived at the same time, and the sun was actually setting pretty fast, so we all kind of took a decision to set everything up, set up the ground sheets, set up the wind sails, and get the fire started. Also, we got delivered wood from the campsite, which is one of the things that the campsite offers you, is that you can buy wood and then they'll deliver it to your site. So our wood was delivered, it was already here waiting for us, but some of it's a bit wet. It's winter, so obviously if you leave the wood outside, there's moisture and it takes quite a while to burn, and so we had to first get the wood going, as well as what we'll talk about later, like the donkey behind us, and that stuff took time. And by the time we got everything unpacked and everyone got set up and everyone got sorted and the fire was going, it was night. So we didn't really want to do the talking head where there was no light. So apologies for that, but
Here we are.
Here we are. So we can also just get to one of the main topics of today's video, which is our first topic, which was fuel. So just as like a rule of thumb, and Ingrid can explain a bit more, we don't always run our petrol tank low. We fill it halfway.
Yes. So yeah, halfway, and then we kind of save a little bit of money because you only have to fill up like half of the tank, and then the other half that you don't spend on petrol, you can spend on a padstalletjie when you go to your campsite.
So there's a top
Yes,
tip
there's a
from
top tip. Or you can use that money to like pay for the campsite or just some other little bits and bobs.
The Nissan NV200, which is our van which we use to camp in, has about a 55-litre tank, which cost us roughly about 1,130 rand, depending on the price of petrol these days. But that's what it costs to fill up with its 55-litre tank. But this time around, we only paid 700 rand to fill up the tank. So saved a little bit of money that way. So there's like, so what we're trying to keep in mind is we don't want to blow money every time we go camping. So whatever little money we can save is a budget-friendly way of camping. And that petrol tank is not going to be fully used just for this camping trip. It's going to be taking us to the campsite and back home without any stops, which is something we like to do. If you like to take the scenic routes and also do a bit of padstalletjies or see some wine farms along the way, then that'll do it for you. You don't have to worry about on the way back, oh, we have to fill up now, or we don't have enough petrol to get back home, depending on where you're from. So perhaps keep that in mind. And then the second thing is the campsite. Now, campsites have a certain way of how they price their things. For people that don't know, usually you get a campsite and you book it for per night, and you pay for a plot, and that plot can take majority 4, but sometimes up to 6 people.
Or 8. Majority 4 or 6.
Yes. And the campsite has certain conditions when it comes to that. For example, you can only allow to park 2 cars of that on site, and also you can only have X amount of tents depending on the site. Each site varies, and you pay for the plot per night.
What we did here is this campsite was actually you have to book a minimum of 8 people, but it can take up to 25 people. So if you are, for example, 4 people, you would still have to pay the price of 8. And then every person after the 8th person, you pay, I think it's 150 Rand a night? 150 Rand a night.
Which sounds like a bargain, but like Ingrid says, you have to pay the minimum. And the minimum for 8 people on this plot was 2,400 Rand for the weekend. So you divide that by 8, it's pretty affordable, and then the more people you add, they just have to each pay 150 Rand a night, and we're only here for 2 nights, so it was 300 Rand each. So essentially we paid as a couple 600 Rand for the weekend to be here, but that's just because of the situation where we're splitting the costs of the campsite.
So you just have to read the fine print for every campsite because they differ, so either per campsite or per person. And then some places actually give you multiple plots depending on how many people you are. So you just have to ask. They're usually very open with how they take money and how they adjust their setup. So yeah, just read the fine print.
Yeah, and it's so, I must say, Stille Waters is wonderful. So we're a group of 12. Yes. So space is something that we kind of want, and we have ample space. All of our tents are camped pretty much around the perimeter. We've got this open layout here where we've put up the wind sails, where we're at the campsite. There's no one on top of each other. So like you can have your peace and quiet as well. So if you're looking for a campsite that is affordable, about 2 hours from Cape Town, and can house people with space, and the facilities here are fantastic. I don't know if you want to walk through the bathrooms with us.
Yes. So one of the main features about this campsite is you get your own bathroom per plot. So there are 2 bathrooms. We split it up as male and female, and the bathrooms are like covered with this stone wall. There is toilet paper with the toilets. The shower is like the open shower type of situation.
Yeah.
The water pressure is nice. You get some hot water, you get cold water, which is all you need.
Yes.
And then there's like a little mirror.
There's also, for the water heat, it is all like gas. It was fantastic. It was warm. It was actually quite hot. It could kind of burn you. So we can't complain about cold water here, definitely. And the pressure is fantastic. The campsite also has several outlets of water points, 220 volt sockets. So evenly spaced out as well. It's not like we're all sharing from one hub and then splitting it. Everywhere around they've set up little 220 volt outlets, which are fantastic. The site has a braai pit as well as a
law park. And then they have a table that seats like quite a lot of people. Like we were all able to sit at the table last night and play some games. And they also come with a fridge and a freezer. So it's very nice. So you don't have to always struggle with the cooler box and whose is whose and try and fit everything and repack and everything. It's just all in the fridge and you know it's safe, you know it will be cold the next morning.
Right, so we're still the only ones awake and the sun is coming up and we're also just gonna enjoy the rest of the day.
Enjoy a cup of tea.
Yeah, we don't have much plans, maybe gonna go on a hike and then...
We have a little game later that we are organizing, but you guys will have to wait and see and we will chat to you later.
Yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day and we'll see you probably tonight, maybe, or tomorrow morning. I can't guarantee these things anymore. All right.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yo, what a day it's been. So we started the day off with like a little hike. We did like a river crossing and we went into the mountains. And it was more like a walkway than a hike really. But we saw some nice flowers. They had these little flowers across the walkway the whole time. Yeah, then we came home and we just relaxed a little bit and then we played our drink tasting game.
Which was a huge success. Everyone loved it, everyone had a great time. And I think we also maybe had a few too many weird concoctions.
We had like fines, so it was a shot for the worst drink and then the chocolate was like a winning prize for the winner. Which
was also a Monster energy drink, not even an alcoholic drink.
What?
So overall Monster won and I can't even remember what was the least favorite, but anyway, it was so much fun. And then everyone was like writing down on their papers, who do you think it was, what it was, and the taste out of 5.
Yeah, we had a really good time. That took us pretty much into the late afternoon where we decided, okay, now we've had nice things to drink, it's time to have some food. So we made some toasties. Everyone kind of hopped around the fire and shared the load and made their own toasties for each couple, made their own toastie for themselves, and some made for others. Obviously, as much toasties we could fit on a grid at a time.
Yes.
And then speaking about food, we are here at the final and almost final, sorry, the
second last
subject, which is the cost of food when it comes to a camping trip. I don't think what we did this weekend is a fair estimation of what it actually costs for a camping trip because we're such a large group of people and we all split the food amongst the 12 of us. In terms of buying rusks, milk, cheese, the bread, or the staple things that we need, we spent just over about 1,300, 1,400 Rand in total.
For food and drinks and all of that. So snackies, foods, breakfasts, and then what we did with this is we made a potjie and then every couple brought like certain foods for the potjie. So that also limited the load.
And then last thing is miscellaneous things to look out for that could eat into your budget, or things that you need to take into account when it comes into camping. So the things that we'd like to mention is stuff like when driving wherever you are, especially like here in the Western Cape, to come to Rawsonville, we have to go through a toll. We have to go through the Huguenot Tunnel, which costs about 53 Rand there and back. So it's 106 Rand in total.
Another thing is a lot of campsites do things like wood deliveries or kayaks that you can hire. So it depends on the campsite. Like we split the wood cost between all 12 of us. So everybody paid like 30 Rand. And then we had 300 pieces of wood delivered. So you can look out for things like that. And there's also a lot of shops have something called an honesty shop, where nobody attends to the shop, but there's all different things that you might forget or might need, like ice or anything like bug repellent or something like that.
This is what Stille Waters has, is they have an honesty shop. They have a security cam, so they are watching you in some way, making sure you're not stealing anything. But there is a little safe with a slot on top to put cash in, but otherwise what you can do if you don't have cash, you can write down on the list, send it to the person who's your point of contact, and then you just EFT them the balance of what you took. But yeah, that is it. Day 2 is almost coming to an end. We're now gonna go and finish up and go make a potjie, get dressed in some warm clothes because the wind, as you can see, picking up and it's getting quite chilly. Please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram and on TikTok, where we post more behind the scenes content and little fun things that we get up to that doesn't make onto the YouTube channel. And we really appreciate you guys watching and supporting this channel. It really means so much to us.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Bye.